Guess what? It's the 5th anniversary of xTool. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to take 2 pieces of Leatherette, we're going to squish them all together to make one really cool hat patch. Are you with me? Let's do it. So, before we talk about this really cool hat patch, and it is really cool, I gotta let you know September is the 5th anniversary of xTool, and they're calling it the 5th Anniversary Carnival. If you don't have an xTool, now is definitely the time to go to the website and take a look. They're planning a huge month-long celebration. Throughout the month, they're gonna be running special promotions and giveaways, and the main event is gonna be their Anniversary Challenge, and it's gonna have some very generous prizes and cash awards for the winners. Subscribe to this channel because I'm going to be talking a little bit more about the xTool promotions very soon. Now let's talk about this pretty awesome hat patch. I found out there was going to be a chance that I'd be going to this big laser conference that was actually last week, and I wanted a hat that was going to stand out, you know, just in case I went. The patch had to be a little different than a basic Leatherette hat patch, and it needed to be a patch with my logo. Didn't need to be over the top, I just wanted it to be a little bit nicer than a normal patch. I also wanted it simple enough so that it would be easy for someone relatively new in the world of lasering to be able to make. So here we are. Hey Tater Tots, I'm Roy, welcome back to Industrial French, where we talk about a lot of stuff, good stuff. Before I get started, I did go to the conference. It was the Next Level Laser Conference in Grapevine, Texas, and wow, it was amazing. You need to start saving a little bit of money now here and there because you're going to want to attend next year. I think it's the 27th, 28th, and 29th of August of 2026. You'll meet amazing contacts, you'll meet vendors that you wish you hadn't because you're going to want to spend all your money with you, and I promise you, you're going to meet some amazing new friends. I know I did. So, today we're diving into how to make this sleek double-layered Leatherette hat patch using Lone Star adhesive Leatherette and our xTool F1 laser. I've got affiliate links to both Lone Star adhesive and xTool in the description. Using those links costs you nothing, but it's a great way to support this channel. As I said before, I'll be using my Industrial Fringe logo with rose red for the bottom layer and flint gray for the top layer. You ready? Let's make it. First things first, let's talk about the design. Here's the logo. I want to get it as close to this as possible. We'll need 2 versions, right? The bottom layer will be the full-size patch using the Lone Star Adhesive Rose Red Heritage Collection Leatherette. The Heritage Collection is awesome, by the way. Because of how this is designed, the only engraving on this bottom rose layer is the text tube, along with a score of that text. I used the score because I didn't want the text to be solid black. I wanted it to stand out and be a little bit lighter, so I used a setting that would produce a lighter color. That worked great, but I still needed it to pop just a little bit, so I added the score line to make it a little bit easier to read. The top layer will be the same shape, but scaled down slightly, around 90 to 95% of the size of the bottom layer, and it'll be engraved using the Lone Star Adhesive Heritage Collection Flint Gray Leatherette. Awesome stuff. This is where the bulk of the engraving will be, and we'll create this layer first. Once it's done and put together, it'll give us this awesome layered look. Where is it? Right here. This awesome layered look. We'll be making this in my favorite software, xTool Creative Space. Let's hop on over to the computer, open XCS, and make this happen. Okay, the first thing I want to do is bring in my logo. Now that I have the logo, I'll make it about this size. We can always adjust it a little bit later. I'm going to make sure it's in the black layer, keep things organized. Then we'll add the YouTube logo and trace it because I want it to be a vector. I deselect layering by color as I don't want the logo to fall into different layers. Once that's done, I can remove the original YouTube logo image because we're going to use the vector. Now let's size and place the YouTube logo so it will look good with the other text. Now I'm going to select Release Compound, select the outline of tube, and make it into another layer as we'll be cutting that out. We'll put that in the red layer. Now I'll hide that outline and select the tube text. Then let's move that to another layer. Let's use the blue layer and hide it for now. Then I can select the U and channel and change it to engrave, then select Subtract at Overlap to get rid of those solid parts within the letters. This black layer will be my engrave layer for the Flint Gray Leatherette. Now I can go to the tube text, change it from score to engrave, select Subtract at Overlap, and that's ready. Now let's select everything we can see. That's the Industrial Fringe U and channel and the blue tube layer. Now we're going to select Offset and go with the default 0.079 offset. Now I'll need to clean that offset up, so I'll move all of it to another layer. Let's temporarily use the green layer. I'll hide the black and blue layers to show you what I'm talking about. Make sure the green layer is selected. For me, the easiest way to clean this up is to select Release Compound, move the offset we want to keep to a different layer. Since the outline of tube is going to be our cut layer, let's move the offset we're keeping to that red layer as well. That'll make the red layer the cut layer for flint gray. Now delete the green layer, which will delete all of that gack on the inside of the offset we just did. Now we should have the flint gray top layer done. Hide the black and blue layers. The bottom layer is going to be a lot easier. We should now have the red offset layer that also has the tube outline visible. Make sure that red layer is selected, then click the offset button, and I'm going to use the default 0.079 offset. Now move that to another layer. Let's use the yellow layer. That will be our rose red cut layer. Now let's hide all the layers and make the blue layer visible. Then we're going to duplicate it by selecting Applications, then Grid Array. I'm going to drop the Y rows to 1 as I only need one duplicate. I'll click Done, then ungroup them. Then I'll select the new tube and move it to a new layer. Let's do orange. Now I'm going to center it on top of the tube on the blue layer, but before you do that, make sure auto snapping is turned on. To do that, click on the X main menu, then select Settings, then make sure auto snapping is checked. Now drag the orange tube to align directly over the blue tube. Once you've done that, change that orange tube to Score. Now we should have all the parts and pieces done. If you need to, go back and rename the layers, maybe moving them around to make sense, and then we can dial in our settings. Here's what I ended up with to make it a little bit easier. Now let's go over my settings. The yellow rose red cut layer will be cut, and I'll be using blue light with a power of 74, a speed of 12 with 9 passes. I found it works for me to use these cut settings and put some blue tape over the engrave to get a really clean cut without a lot of cleanup. Then the orange tube score layer will be score, of course, and the settings are blue light with a power of 90, a speed of 100 with 1 pass. The blue tube layer will be blue light with a power of 60, a speed of 900 with 1 pass, and lines per centimeter set to 160. Moving on, the cut for the flint gray will be blue light with a power of 74, a speed of 12 with 9 passes. And lastly, the black text layer will be engrave, blue light with a power of 70, a speed of 200 with 1 pass, and lines per centimeter set to 160. Now that I've shown you my settings, I have to remind you, always take a small piece of material and make a material test array. Always, because different machines are going to engrave and cut differently, and you want something just for your machine. So the rose red and flint gray leatherette we're using has Lone Star's adhesive-backed Dura-Bull adhesive. I think it's the best out there. It's super durable and perfect for laser projects. You can buy it already attached to the leatherette. That's what I always do, and that's what this is. Let's head on over to the xTool F1 and make this thing happen. Okay, let's start with the bottom layer, the rose red. I'm going to set it in place on the working panel in the xTool F1, making sure it's flat and secure. I always tape it down just to make sure no edges curl up. First, we'll engrave and score the word tube. Once that's done, I'll cover it with blue tape and cut it out. That's done. Now let's move on to the flint gray top layer. As with the rose red, we'll engrave and cut out the shape, just slightly smaller. This is where the bulk of the engraving will happen. I'm doing this all on the xTool F1 because it's the laser I'm most comfortable with, and I highly recommend it. It's also extremely portable and a great laser to take to shows and events. Now comes the fun part, assembly. We're going to take a heat gun to heat up the Dura-Bull adhesive on the back of the flint gray layer so we can tack it onto the bottom patch. I'm going to use a pair of tweezers to easily align it. Since the top layer is just a little bit smaller, it creates that crisp border that really makes the design pop. Press down firmly to ensure a secure bond. If you have a heat press, you can also use that. I've got this press set at 320 degrees, the same as what I use on my hat press, and I'll press it for about 20 to 25 seconds. That'll be enough to get the adhesive on the top patch to adhere to the bottom patch. And now we can press this wonderful double layered hat patch directly onto a hat. There you have it. A professional double-layered leatherette hat patch using Lone Star materials and the xTool F1. Clean cuts, bold contrast, and a ton of creative possibilities. I also made one with the vintage hat, and then this one that we just made for the video, I'll probably put on a canvas probably a canvas apron or either my equipment bag. And don't forget, throughout the month for the anniversary, xTool is running some great special promotions and giveaways. Check them out at the link in the description, and keep an eye on this channel for more news about their anniversary. It's amazing. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you'll never miss a future tutorial, and you can get more info on the xTool anniversary specials. Oh, and I almost forgot, I've got some really cool veneer coming from Creative Cut Supplies through Lone Star, and I'm going to show you how to make some kick-ass wood patches with that veneer soon. Subscribe. We've got more xTool projects and custom creations coming your way right here on Industrial Fringe. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Because you're going to be wanting to spend all your money in flint grade for the top layer. You're ready? Let's make it. You ready? Let's make it. Let's temper. And then the ones that I also made one with, make sure it's HTVRont patch. You lose hat patch. Since the top layer is just a little bit smaller, it creates a crisp hat patch. You lose hat patch, and you can get more then the arch. Are you with me? Let's do it. It happened.